Hello everyone, welcome back to FS Coding. In this video, we are going to discuss about the structure of the C program and the basic example. By the end of this section, you have a clear understanding on this topic. Now, without wasting any sort of delay, let us enter into this code. Here, it is a basic structure of a C program. You can see the coding on the screen. Now, I would like to explain each and every word, each and every line in detail so that you can not simply memorize it, you can understand how actually it works. Here I have copy pasted it. The first line hash include stdio.h. It is normally known as preprocessor command. Okay, it is known as preprocessor command. Now we will see what each word refers to. First, coming to hash, it is used to tell the compiler. You all know that the compiler is usually the bridge that connects the higher level language and the lower level language. Now this hash, if you have any sort of doubts in this higher level language and the lower level language, you can see the previous video. In detail, I will explain. The language that is been understandable by the humans are known as higher level language, whereas the system understandable language is known as the lower level language. A bridge has to be there between these two languages. I mean a translator. A compiler is used as the translator in C program. So this hash tells the compiler that this is, I mean that this line is a preprocessor command. Okay, it tells the compiler that it is a preprocessor command. What happens if it tells that this line is a preprocessor command? Although hash also is a part of this preprocessor command. What happens if this hash tells the compiler that the line is a preprocessor command? It is giving a sort of instructions to the compiler that it has to process this line initially before compilation, and execution as well. And another important thing I would like to tell you is that before this, what is meant by compilation? Compilation. What is meant by compilation? And what is also meant by execution? I will explain both of them. Execution. Execution. Okay. What is meant by compilation? What is meant by execution? I have already discussed the compiler is the bridge of the both higher level language and lower level language. This acts as a translator. It is a process to translate the source code that we are giving into the machine code. Okay, the compiler, as I have earlier said, translates the higher level to lower level. Here the higher level is the source code and the lower level is the machine code. Now the compilation is a process to translate the source code into the machine level code. What is execution? It's very important to memorize this, what is meant by compilation, what is meant by execution for the clarity. Next, coming to the execution, it is a process. Sorry. It is a process of running the machine code. Running the machine code to perform the task. You all know that the codes are written to perform a particular task. Like in this above code is being written to display my first C program. Okay, it is meant to display that particular task. It is meant to do that particular task. Initially, the code is being compiled, means it is translated from the source code to machine level code. That is higher level code to lower level code. Then it is being executed, means running the machine code to perform the task. Then we'll get the output. This is about the compilation and the execution. Okay, coming back to the meanings of this each word. Hash is there, it tells the compiler that this line is a, before that I will use some space, yes, okay. Here also tells that compiler that the line is a preprocessor command. Okay, what this hash now do? It is a sort of instruction that is given to the compiler that to treat, first initially process this particular line before the execution or the compilation of the code. Okay, before starting of the compilation, converting this source code to higher level or execution process, initially it is instructing the compiler to process this line initially. That is, next it is used to tell the compiler that it has to first process this line. In that process, it come across this line, or let the work of the hash is been completed. That's coming to include. In simple terms, we can say that include means to add. In simple terms, it is also do the same work. It instructs the instruct compiler to add the particular file into the source code or source program. Okay, what does hash include? What does include is meant for? It instructs the compiler to add the particular file into the source code. Okay, hash tells that there is a preprocessor command line that has to be processed initially before the compilation. So the compiler first initially process this particular line. In that particular line, we have hash include. What is the purpose of this include? Means it is instructs the compiler to add a particular or specific file into the present source program. That means to use that file in the source program. Now, what is the file? Okay, what is the particular file that is being mentioned here is studio.h. In this studio.h, what is meant by studio.h? STD stands for standard, whereas I stands for input, O for output, and .h is for header file. The complete meaning is standard input output header file. It is a sort of header file. Actually, it contains all the some keywords like printf is there, scanf is there. These all will be inside this studio.h. It is a sort of library. It comprises of all these. It says the compiler when these words are used, what is the purpose of those words and what should be performed. It tells the compiler. Okay. And another important thing is that these are in between two arrows. You can see here. You can see less than symbol and greater than symbol is been there on both ends of the studio.h. These indicates that the file that is being searched by the compiler, that is been instructed by the include, is being present in this place, in the particular place between these two less than and greater than symbols. It indicates that. This is all about the first line. Again, I'm repeating. Hash include studio.h. What is meant by hash include studio.h? Hash tells the compiler to initially process this particular line. In that line, when it is processing, include instructs the compiler to add the particular file to the source code so that it can help the words that are being used to perform their particular tasks. Studio.h is a sort of library that contains all the keywords that says the compiler what should be performed for that particular word, such as printf, scanf. What is printf scanf we will discuss in the further lines. Next, coming to the second line. It is int main. What is this int main? Here the int is a sort of data type, but as of in this context, previously I have forgotten that what is meant by data type and what are all these I will discuss in the following videos. As of now, integer means int means integer, refers to the integer numbers, that is 0 to infinity. Okay. It is a return type here. What is meant by return type means after the completion of the execution of any program, it returns some value. Either it can be an integer or decimal or character. It is indicates that what type of a return is being done by that function at the end of the execution. Means if it returns a 10 or 20, we will write as int main. If it has written something like 0.56, then we have to write as float. For decimal, we will write float. We all discuss about these data types in the further videos. Don't take that much stress, but as of now, remember that it is a place of return type. Okay. Next, coming to main, it is the function name. Main is a function name, but as a default, we have to write as the main only. In further, as we go deep into the C language, some functions we can keep the names as our wish. There is no mandatory that the particular name should be kept. Here the brackets indicates that it is a function. As of now, it's something seems to be difficult for you, but remember one thing, from the int main, the compiler thinks that the main program has been started after this line from this main. Here you can see the code. After the int main, the program has been started. The compiler get an indication that the program has been started from the next line of this int main. As of now, remember like that, but do remember in the future it will get you a sort of idea that here the place of the int is a return type and it is a function name. It is a function. Okay, next the program has been started. You can see there are two braces, the open brace and the closed brace. Here you can see that closed curly brace and open curly brace. What is this closed curly brace and the open curly brace? Do remember that after the line of the main function, you have to open a sort of block with open curly brace and the closed curly brace. All the tasks that you wanted to perform, the entire code should be in between these two braces only, open curly brace and the closed curly brace. If it is outside, it can't be considered as a code related to this function. It might be showing an error. So do remember that we have to write the entire code in this closed block. It forms a sort of block. In that block only we have to write the entire code. Here you can see the open curly brace makes the beginning of the main function block, body, and the closed curly brace makes the end of the main function block. It is an indication for the compiler that if the open curly brace has been started, then it thinks that the task that has to be performed by it has been started and it starts compiling the source code, the machine code after the compilation. Don't be confused. As of now, I will say it as a source code only. Think that here print return 0, this is a source code. This is a source code. Think it as a source code. Now, the source code has to be in between those two blocks. Those two curly braces. It is known as a block. Now, the compiler thinks it is the code. It is a source code that should be compiled by it. So we should do write the code in between these two curly braces only. And next, coming to what is printf, what is scanf. Okay, as of now, as it is not mentioned about the scanf in the code, we will discuss only about the printf. Actually, the printf is a output function. It is usually used to display the matter within it on the screen. Here you can see printf. And the important thing is that the matter that you are wanted to display on the screen, there should be two columns. In that you have to actually, sorry, after this printf, these are known as parentheses. These two parentheses, these are known as parentheses. These brackets. Remember the terms. These are known as parentheses. And these matter should be mentioned between these two parentheses and the double quotes. Inside the parentheses, there should be a double quotes. Inside that double quotes, you have to write the matter. These have to be a double quotes. There should be no single quote. C is very particular about that. Python is different. It can accept both double quotes and single quotes, but here in C, double quotes is very necessary. In printf, we have to write parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you have to keep double quotes. In that, you have to write the matter. After the end of that line, at the ending, you have to keep the semicolon. It is known as semicolon. I think you guys understand this line. Printf is the output function that displays the matter or anything that you keep inside it on the screen. We will write as printf, parenthesis open, double quotes open, then my first C program, double quotes close, parenthesis close, then semicolon. Okay. Next, here you can see that written 0. What is this written? Initially, I have said that here int is a return type. Okay. Here int is a return type. Sorry, it is a return type in this space. Actually, these are data types. I will explain in the further videos in detail about this. Here the int is a return type. As there is nothing to return from this function, we usually by default we will keep it as return 0. Otherwise, there is no necessity to keep it in particular. Okay. This is all about the basic structure of the C program. Once again, I will explain in short. Asterisk symbol is used to tell the compiler that there is a pre-processor command line that should be processed before the compilation. The compiler first process this line. Include is used to instruct the compiler that to add that particular file to the source program during execution. That source file is stdio.h, that is standard input output header file. It is kept inside the upper, less than and greater than symbols. The next line int main. As of now, in short, I will say it is a return type. Here the return type is integer. The main is a function name, but default we have to keep a main. Okay. These brackets indicate that it is a function. Next, open curly brace and the close curly brace. Open curly brace and the close curly brace. This is a block related to the main. Remember this. Inside the block, we have to write the program. This stdio.h is a sort of library that stores the meaning of this printf. The compiler gets the information that what this printf should be performed is being get from this stdio.h. Okay. Here the printf work is to display this matter on the screen. Here the printf, after writing the printf, we have to open the open parenthesis. Next, the double quotes. Inside the mat, we have to write the matter. Then the close the double quotes and the parenthesis. at the end it is mandatory to keep the semicolon. If anything is being missed, then there will be a sort of pop-up of error. Okay, then there is a return type. Here there is no sort of thing to be written, so it is return 0. This is all the basic structure. Now I would like to show you how it actually works. You can practice any sort of coding that I'm going to explain the further videos in Programize. You can type in Google as online C compiler, then you can get it as the first link. Here you can see that I have written the code. Now I click on run. Okay, the program has been executed. My first C program, you can see. Now we will see some of the errors when I have said some errors will be executed when we forgot to keep this semicolon. Then how it will solve. See. Okay, see here. He is indicating that there is expected semicolon before this written. Remember this, if there is error in this line, I mean this fifth line, it will pop up as it is error in sixth line. I mean before this, it has to be, it will show like that. Before means in the previous line. You should remember it that. And another thing I have said that there is no need of this return 0. Once I will remove it. Now I will run. See, the program has been executed. There is no necessity to keep the return 0 for some sort of structured pattern. I am usually people keep that, but it is very important in the further videos I am going to discuss. There is very important to this, and another important thing is that instead of keeping int, float or anything, simply we can keep void. Void indicates that null, that is there is nothing is present. Okay, see again the code is been executed. Okay, if I have forgotten to keep some word or anything, then see the compilation terminated, means there is no such file or directory. You can see I have said it is a header file. Here stdio.h is a sort of file that is not being present. stdio dot wait sorry stdio.h is the only file related to C. Now it has been executed. Do remember that hash include studio.h is important. Void main is mandatory, and this open parenthesis and the open brace, curly brace and the closed curly brace is mandatory. You should follow it. There is no necessity to keep that return type. Next, coming to printf, in that parenthesis is mandatory, double quotes is mandatory, and the semicolon is also mandatory. Okay guys, this is all about the structure of the C program. This video has become somewhat lengthy, but I have tried to cover each and every detail and with clear explanation. I have kept my 100% effort. If you think it is informative, please like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that the next coming videos can be reached very easily. Thank you all. See you in the next video. Thank you.